is Peter Njoroge. I'm the operations manager at KeNHA Africa. KeNHA Africa is the management contractor contracted by Kenya National Highways Authority to manage the way bridges in Athi River cluster, Gilgil cluster, and also the virtual way bridges on the eastern side of the country. At Athi River cluster, we have the Mrorongo way bridge or Athi River way bridge. We also have Isinya way bridge. We have Juja way bridge. And we also have KeNHA way bridge, which is in Kitui County. It is important to say that the purpose of our way bridge is to ensure that the road users do not carry weight beyond the capacity that is allowed. In our country, the law stipulates that an axle should not exceed 8 tons if it is an axle with 2 tires. But for double tires, the axle can carry up to 10 tons. So for different categories of vehicles, we have allowances for how much weight a vehicle can carry. That is why you find that for the lowest category, that is vehicles with 2 axles, the maximum weight allowed is 80 tons, where the first axle is 8 tons and the rear axle is 10 tons. We also put into cognizance the fact that sometimes when cargo is on transit, it can shift a bit. So the authority, that is Kenya National Highways Authority, who has contracted us to do the work, has given a 5% tolerance. So in case the cargo shifts, as the vehicle transports the goods, the transporter will get allowance of 5% without being charged. Beyond that, they are allowed to distribute and continue with the journey. But for those who are carrying cargo above the legal gross vehicle weight, which is different for different kind of vehicles, those ones, they have to be surcharged. After paying the penalty, then they have to off-road the excess weight using a relief vehicle and continue with the journey. It is important to say that the purpose of our way bridge is to ensure that the road users do not carry weight beyond the capacity that is allowed. In our country, the law stipulates that an axle should not exceed 8 tons if it is an axle with 2 tires. But for double tires, the axle can carry up to 10 tons. So for different categories of vehicles, we have allowances for how much weight a vehicle can carry. That is why you find that for the lowest category, that is vehicles with 2 axles, the maximum weight allowed is 80 tons, where the first axle is 8 tons and the rear axle is 10 tons. We also put into cognizance the fact that sometimes when cargo is on transit, it can shift a bit. So the authority, that is Kenya National Highways Authority, who has contracted us to do the work, has given a 5% tolerance. So in case the cargo shifts, as the vehicle transports the goods, the transporter will get allowance of 5% without being charged. Beyond that, they are allowed to distribute and continue with the journey. But for those who are carrying cargo above the legal gross vehicle weight, which is different for different kind of vehicles, those ones, they have to be surcharged. After paying the penalty, then they have to off-road the excess weight using a relief vehicle and continue with the journey. It is our desire that we don't delay anybody at the way bridges. That is why you'll find that on all the way bridges that we have in this country, KeNHA has really tried to install what we call high-speed way in motion, where the vehicles are weighed as they move, and only those who are suspected to be overloaded are diverted to the static weighbridge stations. And an example is where we are now. This is at the river static weighbridge on the Mombasa-bound side. So if you are able to pass through the station, you'll find that there are vehicles which do not get into the weighbridge because they have been weighed on the highway and found to be compliant. And even those who divert, majority, like 98%, are also found to be compliant and they proceed. It is also important to say that KeNHA has highly automated the weighing stations, and the element of human intervention is very low. So the decisions are made by the equipments, and there is communication that is done to the transporters through public display units. So as the weights are captured by the weighing scales, the drivers are able to see what their vehicles weigh, axle by axle, and even the gross vehicle weight. The purpose of this is to ensure that we are facilitating trade and we are not an impediment. Previously, we used to have scenarios where people could queue for long hours waiting to be weighed. But in the current scenario, as we can see, unless you are carrying excess weight, majority of people will not even spend more than 5 minutes in a weighbridge station. The weighing process itself takes a very short time, about 30 seconds on the higher side, to weigh a vehicle, and the vehicle leaves the station. We want to request the road users, especially the trucks and the buses, to comply with the legal weight limits, because it's not the intention of KeNHA or government to charge anybody. Our desire is that everybody should comply so that our roads are safe and they rust to the desired lifespan, and the transporters do their businesses without any delay. But definitely for those who choose not to comply with the law, I want to say that the law is very punitive. In our operations, we employ two categories of laws. We have the Traffic Act, Cap 403. We have the relevant sections in the Traffic Act which deal with overloading and even vehicles that carry cargo out of gauge. We also have the East African Vehicle Road Control Act of 2016. This is a regional law which is applicable to the member states of the East African Community. So the application that is happening in Kenya is the same that will happen in Uganda, in South Sudan, and any other member states of the EAC. So we want to request that if you are shipping goods from Mombasa, either to Rwanda, to DRC, or to any other country, just know that you are required to comply with the EAC Act, and if you do so, you will not be stopped at any weighbridge. We are also cognizant of the presidential directive that trucks should be weighed at the point of entry and exit for those carrying goods on transit. So in that case, we are weighing either vehicles from Mombasa at Mariakani, or we are also weighing vehicles either at the entry weighbridge at Webuye or Busia. After that, they are weighed at the exit weighbridge or the last weighbridge. If you are found to be overloaded and you are carrying goods on transit or goods for export, you will be intercepted at the last weighbridge or at the weighbridge of exit. So if you comply at entry and you decide to add more weight during transit, when you are being weighed at the point of exit or at the weighbridge of exit, that is where you shall be charged. Maybe it's good to add that I think it's good to add and say that KeNHA has really embraced the issue of stakeholders' engagement. And as a result of that, we are working hand in hand with the Truckers Association of Kenya, TAK. There is also KTA, and other bodies, including some buses now, they have come to form organizations. And the purpose of all this is to ensure that everybody embraces compliance, because the road belongs to all of us, including those who don't have trucks, including those who are not using the road to ship cargo, but just for purposes of moving from one point to another. And as a result of the engagements we have had, we have seen the number of self-regulating circles increase in our country. I think they are now to the tune of 140 self-regulating circles across the country, where our local transporters come together. We sensitize them on the importance of complying with the law, with respect to the road limits. And as a result of that, we have really seen great improvement. It is not the desire of the authority to charge anybody. Actually, we have no objective of collecting any fine in the way bridges. It is our desire that everybody would comply, because out of that, our roads will last to the desired lifespan. And our roads will be safe, because overloading leads to deterioration of road pavement, which is a safety hazard. There are people who will be using a road for the first time, and if there is a pothole, there is a likelihood that an accident can occur. I also want to emphasize that it is very important for transporters to observe, as the police officer has said, the road signages, because we don't wish to charge anybody or to take anybody to court because of avoiding or evading the way bridges. And KeNHA has installed sufficient signages near all the way bridges to guide the transporters on how to move when they approach the way bridges.
My name is Inspector Adan Sharamo. I'm Deputy OCS at the Riverway Bridge. Basically here, what we are doing is an enforcement concerning the axle load. There are those vehicles which are not bypassing. They are normally bypassing the way bridge. Instead of observing the road signs and those directives which are being given by the police officers, they are normally evading the way bridge. In such a scenario, we are normally prosecuting these vehicles through the law courts. Yeah, it's normally there. The issues to do with the rogue motorists are there. But nowadays, due to sensitization, which are normally carried out by the agencies, they are trying to comply, most of them. The big problem is with the local transporters. But now they are coming to the law. They are now understanding that it is good that we manage, we observe the regulations which are being laid down. So it is not as earlier before. Most of the motorists are nowadays, they are trying to comply with the law. What we understand about the accident, mostly accident normally occurs out of the wheel. It is a misfortune. There is no one who intends to commit an accident. So whatever happens, it is normally against the wish. But the local traffic officers, they are normally on the road to enforce that. The drivers which are normally are not adhering with the road regulations. So we normally, those people who are normally investigating the accident are the local police, the traffic officers who are stationed at the station level. We don't normally have the alcohol laws at the way bridge, but we normally, on an experience of such a scenario, where the drivers are, maybe we are suspecting that this person is intoxicated, we normally involve the local traffic to come and do the test.